Have you ever thought about getting the Cyberpunk 2077 Platinum, but you were put off because you thought it will take hundreds of hours, a spreadsheet to track everything, and becoming like a master of hacking? Because honestly, that was me. Cyberpunk has this reputation of being absolutely massive, huge open world, endless side content, complex builds, missable choices and different endings. And for a lot of people, like myself, that makes the Platinum feel very intimidating. But after finally going through it properly, I found that it's not all that bad. Do you know what I mean? And I'm here to tell you all about it. And to be honest, it's not just manageable, it's a fun, accessible Platinum that you're going to enjoy over multiple hours. So in this video, I'm going to break down exactly how long this is going to take, how hard it's going to be, what trophies you need to get, and whether this Platinum respects your time or consumes it. And thankfully, it's much closer to the first one. So let's get the big question out of the way to start. Is it punishingly hard? Well, no. Seriously, it's probably only a 3 out of 10. And that comes down to one key thing. There's no difficulty related trophies. If you want, you can play this whole game and get the Platinum on easy. Now you might say that's kind of cheesing it, but I don't. Because you're going to be putting in the work somewhere else. Time. Most of the challenge here comes from organization and management of your time. It's nothing to do with difficulty. But that's genius in my opinion, because you can sink your life into this. So you're probably thinking, how long does this take then? Well, it doesn't actually take hundreds of hours. It actually only takes about 70 hours, 80 hours, if you manage your time really well. In my case, it actually took closer to 100 plus hours, but I'm okay with that. It's Cyberpunk 2077. And to be honest, I have no idea how long I spent, just walking around, taking in the atmosphere, doing side quests, doing stuff I didn't have to do for the platty. Like, if you're taking your time, experimenting with builds, buying cars, looking at apartments, generally getting distracted, it will take much more than 70 hours. But honestly, this is one of those games that time just flies by. Because as you know, Night City is still one of the most immersive worlds that you can engage with. And I say that especially after all the updates. Now the good news is, and I don't want to get in trouble for saying this, so I'm going to be clear, it can be done in a single playthrough, kind of. You will need to replay the final mission a couple of times. When I say it takes a single playthrough, I mean a single full playthrough. Of course, if you've got saves, you can go back and just mop up those other trophies, just do the alt endings, and then you're fine. You don't have to replay the full game. Just reload the save before that point of no return. I think you're going up to the bar and you're going to have a little talk. And then from there, you can make the changes. So yeah, you do have to do that maybe, I think 4 times it is, but you don't need 4 playthroughs. Because for a game of this size, honestly, that would have been really brutal. Okay, here's the next thing. And this is a really important one. Do not forget this. During the mission called Search and Destroy, you need to make a manual save. Do not ignore this advice, because one specific story decision with Takemura, it can lock you out of an ending trophy if you're not careful. And if that happens, you are going to be replaying dozens of hours. So be on that one. This single save file can save your whole Platinum run. Okay, so let's move on and talk about the trophy list. At first glance, it kind of looks terrifying. There are around 14 missable trophies. There's relationship requirements. There's multiple different endings. There are collectible trophies and there's combat trophies. Some people might see this as the most delicious part, while others it might scare away. But once you understand how the game is structured, it actually becomes really manageable, because most of the missable trophies are actually tied to one simple rule. Don't ignore the major side characters. That's it. Job's a good one. So if you get a call, on the old blower, from Panam, Judy, Rogue, River, or Kerry, you answer straight away and you do those side quests. Don't be off fighting random gangs while they've been called in like 40 times or 40 hours ago. Because a lot of these endings and side quest trophies are directly tied to them. So that's the key. And I honestly found a few of these side quest stories in particular, a lot more compelling than the main story. I'll just tell you that. And I think it was Panam's ending that was actually the better ending for me. Let me know in the comments which you thought was the best ending if you've already got this platinum. And like all good platinums, the trophy list encourages you to explore this game to the fullest. One thing I hate about platinums where they have busy work or collectibles is if they're just, mindless. This one actually engages with the rest of the story and the larger world. So you're experiencing the game to the fullest. You're getting your money's worth, really. Okay, don't get me wrong, it does have some of its busy work though. The NCPD cleanup sections probably come the closest to this. So make sure you get that out of the way quicker or later, however you like to do it. But the core of this platinum exists around the actual characters and the real story that's going on in Night City, which makes this platinum gold dust. So to get back to that, there are some trophies that you should probably plan around early, sooner rather than later. The biggest one is probably Auto Jock, which will require you to buy every single vehicle in the game. And Night City is not cheap. So I got some simple advice on that one. Don't waste your money. You're gonna need it. So don't overspend on cyberware or stuff that you don't need, right? Because if you burn through your money too early, you're gonna end up grinding for it later. Loot everything, sell everything. Trust me, the future you will be grateful. There are also a few attribute related trophies that can actually become missable if you completely commit to one single build too early, okay? So for example, one trophy needs a high technical ability, one needs body stats, stuff like that, right? So what you want to do is save 17 to 20 unspent attribute points towards the end of the game. What you can do then is that you can spend them, pop the trophy, reload a save, then spend them again, pop the next trophy. So basically, if you didn't catch that, you make a manual save, you pop the trophy with the attribute points, then you reload the save and you spend those points somewhere else. Yes, it's cheesing it, but it's going to save you a lot of time. Save you a lot of grind. Now let's talk about the actual platinum experience, because this is where Cyberpunk becomes really interesting. This is not really a turn your brain off platinum. You can't really put on a podcast while you're doing it. But it's also not a soul destroying grindy platinum either. It's more like just living inside Cyberpunk for 70 to 100 hours and actually doing what you should be doing. Like, your build will evolve. You'll become much stronger, faster, richer. You'll really be able to explore the quest lines to the fullest and get to know all the other characters a bit more instead of just, touching upon them. My point is, you'll start to really feel like you're living in Night City and not just grinding for some trophies. But don't get me wrong, I don't want to be tricking anyone. There are some repetitive parts, there are some collectibles, there may be parts that feel a little bit like grind. And like I pointed out, some of those NCPD ones, like the scanner hustles, those kind of things, they might not feel great. A little bit of copy paste. One of my personal gripes is clearing the map. Something that I have a really big problem with in Ubisoft games. But again, compared to some games, it feels much more varied. And if you're gonna play it anyway and spend a few hundred hours in this game anyway, why not get the Platty? The music, the atmosphere, the story, the side quest stories make this worth getting, I would say. So if the only reason you've been avoiding this is you think it might be too hard, then I would say give it a shot. Just keep in mind, have a couple of manual saves there ready all the time. That's what I did. Make sure you keep those side quests alive, keep going at it, and avoid wasting money. Is this a long one? Yes. But it's enjoyable and it doesn't need to be too hard if you remember those 3 things. So let me know in the comments, do you have this platinum already or are you looking to go for it? Did this video help? I hope it did. Catch you next time. Cheers.